According to the INVEST guidelines, high-quality user stories are testable. The acceptance criteria in the user story must include a definitive description of what is considered done. Here in our user story, Search for Plants by Criteria on the website, we have acceptance criteria that tells us the customer should search by all these different properties for their plants. They can search on multiple properties in a single search. When they submit, the system's going to return them a list of plants that match that criteria, including a thumbnail image, the plant's common and Latin name, and then customers can remove plants from the list to narrow down the results. This user story cannot be considered done unless the acceptance criteria is satisfied. And the only way we know if it's satisfied is by verifying it through tests. But acceptance criteria is not test cases. Acceptance criteria answers the question, how will I know when I'm done with this user story? Test cases list the steps needed to test the functionality. Now, when writing acceptance criteria, individuals from 3 different disciplines are required to collectively understand what should be tested and how. The product owner, the team members who will be doing the development, and the ones who will be doing the testing. All 3 must be in agreement on what needs to be done in order to satisfy the user story. Acceptance criteria should be detailed enough to define when the user story is satisfied, yet not so detailed as to inhibit collaboration. And all agreements should also be captured in the user story, so there are no misunderstandings if someone new is added to the team and ends up doing the work. The acceptance criteria is used to create the test plan, and it's a best practice to write the test plan before developing the code. It makes it very clear to the team what they need to do to move this user story to done. If the team knows exactly how the feature will be tested, they will know exactly how to implement it, which increases the team's productivity. A way to ensure the user story is testable is have the customer that submitted this user story tell the team how to test it. If the customer cannot describe how to test a feature, it means there's more discussion needed. If the test criteria is difficult to write, then there's a problem with the user story. Let's look at a user story that has some issues. Now, if the test criteria is difficult, it could be that the user story is asking for a horizontal layer or technical components instead of a vertical slice of functionality. Here you see the CRM initiative. Well, this is a whole component all by itself. There's no vertical slice of functionality that's demonstratable to the user, and it's quite large, which is another reason you might have problems writing test criteria. This user story might be too big or too complex with too many disparate functions in a single story. Here we see there's 3 different areas: CRM, security, and user portal experience. This should really be broken up into multiple stories. Or the story could be dependent on other user stories that have not yet been completed. When writing the test criteria, be aware of descriptions that are not testable. Words must be exact. Words like all mean you never know when you're done testing. Here, if we look at the user portal experience, number 5, sites should be linked to any and all multimedia sites for customers to access. Well, there's so many multimedia sites, and new ones could be added every day. How do you know when you're done testing this? And words should not be fuzzy. Like here, on number 1, interface should be user-friendly, clean, and easy to use. Well, that sounds nice, but fuzzy words like quickly, nice, clean, user-friendly, manageable, they're all subjective, and they create a description that is not testable. Now, when the user story is new and very large, like an epic, fuzzy words like this can promote a conversation and negotiations. In this case, they would help the team and stakeholders come to a single idea of what it means to be user-friendly or clean. But they don't belong in the acceptance criteria, which you're going to be using to write your test plans. Now, all these agreements that the team comes to must be written in the user story's acceptance criteria in clear, concise, testable language. Also, while it's essential to capture notes, assumptions, and agreements in the user story, too much information in a description can lead to missing information in acceptance criteria. Here we see customers should be restricted to more than 5 comments in a single day, Well, that's something that should be in the test plan. But down here, logged in users should be able to submit comments on plat files relating to their own experience. This doesn't bring that in, and so it could be left out of the test plan. Ensure that the assumptions captured in the description are also reflected in the acceptance criteria. The T in the INVEST guidelines stands for testable. Writing clear, testable acceptance criteria is crucial, as it's the only way the team, product owner, and customer can agree on when the user story is done.